Hi there. So tonight it's not just a Coda Comics. It is a Coda horror. It's a Coda reading. We'll go with that. But yes, we do have a lot of omnibuses, some comic stuff in here. We have some magazines and stuff as well. I'm going to explain why I picked up every one I did in Canada. Why every single one of these had to come home with me. This should be a lot of fun, and maybe I'll give you some reading suggestions as well, because there is some great stuff in here. Uh, some is great family reading, some not so much, but we'll get to that right here. Dive right into this with something that was given to me by my sister, and it's actually pretty cool too. So this is a reproduction of a comic that I used to have a long time ago, and it is Frank Miller's Batman Year One. So let's actually break this open. If you haven't read Batman Year One, it's a really good read. Uh, some stunning artwork on the inside. It looks like they've reprinted the ads from back then too. So which is actually pretty cool. So I wonder if it says when the initial one was done. Yeah, so this initially came out in 1986. Wow. And this is a 2004 reprint. Even as a reprint, that's actually pretty old. So was excited to read that again. I do want to get I don't have the full complete graphic novel anymore, but I definitely need to get it, especially after reading this while I was home. And thanks, Ray. I really love getting comics, especially ones like that, ones that kind of like speak to me. Next up is a magazine that I had to have. I'm a massive vampire fan, and this is Scary Monsters, and it is issue 133. So it's a vampire issue. We got Blackula on the cover and the beautiful Pam Grier. How can you not want to have her on the cover? And right on the back here, we got some of the most infamous vampires of all time, including Barnabas Collins himself, Jonathan Freed edition. We got Robert Quarry's Count Yorga here. We've got the George Hamilton from Love at First Bite. But what I find really cool up here is the thing that freaked me out when I was a kid. It is from Fright Night, for real. Another one that came out in, I think, 1980, 1985, 1986. There's some great articles in here as well. And not all vampire stuff. There's one on Gigantor. But it's some super cool stuff. We have things on Lon Chaney, on Theta Bara, a Silent Scream like Queen. We got things here on a kind of we got a Kaiju corner here. Goki, Body Snatch from Hell. There's a bunch of stuff on Dracula from the 70s. 30 Days a Night, A Bloodsucker's Dream, The Return of Count Yorga, House of Shadows, Come to See How the Vampires Do It, Fangs of Fury, The Legend of Seven Golden Vampires. Also has some wonderful pictures inside here as well. And it's old school. I know it's not. It's in color. It's black and white, not in color. But it really lets them keep the cost down while being able to do wonderful, beautiful color covers like this and great articles on the inside. And Scary Monsters is a really good magazine with some really fantastic articles. Though if you want a more stylishly colorful magazine, well, welcome to Dark Side. Now, the Dark Side is a magazine done in the UK. And because I don't live in the UK, I don't normally get it, but they do import this one in Newfoundland, in St. John's particularly. You'll see stuff for Severin Films in here. This one here has an article with Linda Blair. This is a beautiful picture of Linda Blair from Savage Streets. We got the Incredible Shrinking Madman, Dr. Cyclops article. We have Gore's Guns, Girls, Gore, and Gods, the Exotic Ormans, the Orman box set, which a good friend of mine, George, got for me, and I cannot wait to get that, by the way. Talk about Darkfest in here, and there is just some incredibly amazing stuff. Some wonderful reviews, and some stuff that is so intense I cannot show you, but I can show you stuff like this. Like Kim Newman's Dungeon. Kim looks back at The Lady Vanishes from 1979, the comedy thriller that finally derailed the original House of Hammer. And we can see there's some nice artwork here and some fantastic stuff. But they didn't put out one issue of Dark Side, they put out two. They also had this Freddy Krueger one here as well with and they talk to Heather Langenkamp. She's the Dream Queen. Chainsaws and Nude Space Girls. Tobe Hooper at Canon Films. Taco Hell, A Feast of Mexican Horror. Horror's Greatest Year, the shockers from the early 70s. Just a really, really good one to have. This one here has the Peter Cushing ad on the back from the big Severance set. And they actually dive into a lot of like the Mexico Macabre stuff, like the Indicator put out, that narrative from box set, which is the one I couldn't get. They have some pictures here that I can't show you because we got some from Life Force, and you guys know what's in Life Force. Also grabbed up an issue of Horror Hound. This one in particular, I really wanted this one. There's a couple of Horror Hounds there, but this is the one that stood out. So this has the Black Sabbath in it. Talks about Exorcist Believer. Little thing on FNAF. We got Midnight Movies. Talking about the Midnight Movies collection. You guys know I'm a massive fan of that. We have the poster on the inside here, which I absolutely adore. But anyone that starts off with like a Bava, we got like some Bava select filmography, and we have like a thing on MGM Midnight Movies. It's just I'm there for that. I am so there for that. Look at this. Some of the incredible MGM Midnight Movies are right there. I recently did a video with my dad on that. I'm not sure if it's up on my Patreon yet or not. And I cannot go back to Canada and not pick up Canada's own premium horror magazine, the Fango of Canada. Actually, I think they've surpassed Fango my esteem, and that is Rue Morgue magazine. Now, speaking of magazines, me and Jason will be on here talking about the next issue of Delirium when it comes out. So watch out for that, by the way. We'll do like a little bit of an in-depth dive. This is I haven't really got a chance to look at this in a while. I just like was blown away by the cover. We got Red Rooms on here, the Glamour Ghoul gift guide, the Return of Amicus, which is one I was really interested in. You know, I've talked Amicus on this channel. Adam's Family Walks, Where the Devil Roams. And I always love the stuff that they do with this magazine. It is always well written, well researched, and one that I absolutely adore. Now we've got out of the magazine aspect of it, and we're getting into some stuff, some creepy stuff, some eerie stuff, some horror stuff. Because we're starting off with Eerie Volume 1. Yes, Warren Publishing put out those. You saw me show off some of those hardcover eerie and creepy ones. Well, now they're reprinting these in full glorious black and white, the way they're done, with the covers in color, with everything that was included in the initial ones, including letters, pages, ads. So you're not going to miss out on anything. Introductions, and there's an ad right there. So I strongly recommend checking these out. These are so well done and so well. It's amazing to see the stuff that's put in here, and I can't show you some of this stuff because some of it does go into the more adult territory. It was a magazine that was done so that they could get away with the creepier stuff, with the more intense stuff. There's a letters page right there. This one here includes the first 5 issues of Eerie magazine, with works from like Gray Morrow, Al Williamson, Frank Frazetta, Alex Toth, Steve Ditko, and a ton of other people working on this. Some really great stuff, and an introduction here by Forrest J. Ackerman. So For himself does the introduction for this. I had to follow up. I had to get one more, and I thought I'd be getting another Eerie, but I couldn't not get this creepy one right here. It's Creepy Volume 2, and there's some stories here that I wanted, so it's the reason I picked up Volume 2 rather than Volume 1. This has stuff with Reed Crandall, Gary Morrow again. We got John Severin on this one as well. Archie Goodwin is doing work from this one here. This one had some like Edgar Allan Poe stuff. So we got like the Cask of Amontillado. We got like the Body Snatchers as well. Again, just utterly beautiful artwork in here. And just look at this cover here. These books are intense and so much fun. It's like they're taking the old EC style and they're bringing it back. This was done in the 70s, but it's not now. They're bringing that back to in the 70s and say we're going to do that, but we're going to do it just a little bit more intense than what EC did. So there you go. Rest out of here are some omnibuses that I want to share, guys. I'll tell you why. I think these could be ones that you may want in your collection as well, and we'll go through them one at a time. First off, we have right here August 1961. It was the first of the year-themed omnibuses that they did. Why is it August of 1961? Well, that's when the Fantastic Four came out. And what they did is to theme this, they said, rather than just do like random like stories from 1961 or random comics from 1961, we'll reprint every comic that came out in the month that the Fantastic Four came out. So August of 1961, there's a 1962 and a 1963 as well, but I only have the very first volume. What's neat about this is there's books in here that will never get an oversized like reprint. Things like Kathy, Journey in Mystery, Linda Carter, Student Nurse, Love Romance. Even got some pre Spider-Man Amazing Fantasy in here as well. The restoration on these books are absolutely stunning. Here's Patsy Walker. You know. And of course, this was like, she was pretty much an Archie style character that would later become a Hellcat. Linda Carter, Student Nurse. Strange Tales. Just some incredible stuff. And what I recommend is if you're a fan of older school Golden Age comic stuff or maybe Silver Age stuff, you're going to want to read these. These are fun. It's a good way to get a wide cross section if you don't want to like commit to a book that you're not quite sure of, especially if it's like an older style one, like the next one. Because I know the comics and because I like them, it was an easy pickup for me to get this kind of slim, amazing fantasy. And of course, with the first appearance of Spider-Man there, but with a whole ton of other stuff before then. But if you don't like the monster sci-fi horror stories, then this may not be your thing. And but I do freaking love this picture right here. Look at that. So a great way to find out if this is your thing is to pick up one of those 1961, 62, or 63 when you see them on sale. This has a lot of monster stories, twist ending stories, you know, that type of thing. But it's very lightweight. It's very fun. It's a nice, easy read. And again, it's really well remastered. So think of like remastering like old movies, except in comic book form. Next up is one you can't let your kids read. And that one is this one right here. This is Alias, or as some people call it, Jessica Jones Alias, so people know. So if you've ever watched the Netflix series Jessica Jones, well, this is where it came from. This is the original run of the comic. There is more to Jessica Jones, but this is the first run, the Brian Michael Bendis run with Michael Gatiss doing the artwork. It is a very different artwork if you're used to regular comic book artwork. I'll show you in a second. However, there are things in this that are not meant for anybody but a mature audience. She gets pretty intense, and it can get violent. It can get sexy. It can have things in it that can be disturbing. But you see here that like here it seems like slightly indie, but more typical artwork. But dive into stuff like kind of almost like paint art like this, and you know, have pages of that style, and you're like, it's different, right? But it's really, really good. It's an absolutely fantastic story, and I would recommend it to anybody that likes kind of like a mature, kind of noirish like superhero story. This is a completion one for me. I had the first volume, and I didn't know if I was going to get the first volume because I wasn't sure if I was going to like it. I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought I did. I thought I was going to. So I had to pick this one up, and it is volume 2, and this is way better than the first one, actually. And it is X-Men Volume 2. This is the original classic run, the X-Men, before the Uncanny stuff came around, before it became super popular. This was the kind of the underdog, the dark horse of Marvel Comics back in the day. Nobody was reading this to the point where they, for a while, would actually like just spotlight one character. So it goes from like being X-Men to like, okay, X-Men starring Professor X, or X-Men with an Angel adventure, or Cyclops, or Magneto. It sadly only went for a little while. What's included in this one here is X-Men 32 to 66, finishing off the X-Men. We got Avengers 53, which was a crossover, and we got material from Kazar 2 and 3, our Marvel Tales number 30. So there's a ton of stuff in here. Again, like a lot of these here, Silver Age books, they include the letters pages, and it's really cool to get letters pages, especially for a book that that was not as popular as some of the other ones. But just look at this here, like there's some amazing artwork in here. Now, speaking of amazing artwork and just amazing overall, here's something that I'm so excited to have, and if you can find it for a decent price, definitely worth picking up. It is such a fun read, and it is so unique. The artwork is so wonderful and just absolutely stunning, and it is Batman 66. So imagine the Batman 66 TV series, but like with people like Scarecrow or Bane in there, like Poison Ivy, like Two-Face. People never made it to there, with some incredible artwork, extremely well done, and way more compelling than you might even imagine. It's just great stuff, and definitely check it out. It's a thick book here, and it includes the entire like Batman 66 comic book series 1 to 30, and the last episode, which is actually a really cool one. A story that was created by Harlan Ellison, like outline that he did for an episode that never happened. Definitely recommend checking it out. It's a massive book. Speaking of another massive book, we've got Conan the Barbarian, the Kurt Busiek, Cary Nord era. So Kurt Busiek and Cary Nord worked on Conan when Conan was for Dark Horse magazine. Now, Dark Horse Publications. Dark Horse Publications had it. When Marvel got the rights, they got the rights to everything Conan. Well, pretty much, they didn't have the rights to, of course, some of the other characters like Red Sonja, but they got the rights to the Conan stuff, including the rights to the Dark Horse stuff, and they put them out. There's a Dark Horse one, a kind of colossal Conan that has it all, but it's really out of print, and it's almost too big, and the way that I worry about it's structure. But this one is actually pretty good. So we have in here all the work from Kurt Busiek. I think pretty much thanks all the work anyway. So collecting Conan the Legend 1 to 28, 32, 39, 45, and 46. Conan Book of Thoth 1 to 4. And with that one, that's what one he did with Fabian Nicieza and Len Wein, illustrated by Cary Nord. Bruce Timm did some illustrations, and even one of my not so much favorites, Kelly Jones. But it is intense. It is bloody. It is not your Conan the Barbarian. It is Conan much in the way of like the Conan Savage Sword of Conan magazine was done, but in color. One last book, and one that means a lot to me, and the last one that I did get, and the biggest baby that I picked up, is this one right here. As you guys know, I'm a massive Spider-Man fan, and this completes the kind of like the start of my Spider-Man, like the collection for this one. I got to get the Clone Wars, but the Clone Saga. But this is Spider-Man Ben Reilly Volume 1. This is how thick this is. It is massive. It has Web of Scarlet Spider 1 and 4, Amazing Scarlet Spider 1 and 4, Scarlet Spider 1 and 2, Spectacular Scarlet Spider 1 and 2, Scarlet Spider Unlimited, number 1, Green Goblin issue number 3. Yeah, there was a good Green Goblin character back in the day before the Gold Goblin. There's Sensational Spider-Man 0 to 3, Wizard Mini Comics, Amazing Spider-Man 407 to 410, Annual 1996, Spider-Man 64, 67, New Warriors 67, because Ben Reilly was in New Warriors for a short time. Spectacular Spider-Man 230, 233, Spider-Man Punisher, Family Plot, 2-issue miniseries, Spider-Man Holiday Special 1995, Spider-Man The Final Adventure 104, Spider-Man Limited number 11, Spider-Man Team Up 2 and 3, and material from Venom Along Came a Spider. So, ton of stuff right there. And super underrated Spider-Man run that I think needs to be looked back up on just to show how great it is. So there you go. That's the reading material that I picked up when I was in Canada. Stuff that had to come home with me. Stuff that I wanted, that I needed, that I really had to have. And I'm so glad I got it. And hopefully you're glad you watched this video. Let me know if you picked up or plan on picking up any of these books, if anything interests you, if there's anything you want to know about any of the other books. My name is Aaron, and I'll see you next time right here in the Cult of Cinema.